The match has finished. West Ham United 0, Brentford 1. No complaints, by the way. No complaints about that. The best team won, undoubtedly, although it was definitely a game of two halves. In many respects, I think West Ham deserved the 0-0 in the second half. But the first half, where Brentford went 1-0 ahead, they probably should have won that half about 3-0, 4-0, quite possibly even more. So no complaints there with the result. The tail of the tape will tell you something different. If you've not seen the game and you just click on Google and you read the stats, got them for you now. It'll obviously say 1-0 to Brentford, but 13 shots to West Ham, 14 shots to Brentford, 5 on target Brentford, 3 on target West Ham. West Ham had all the possession, 59%. We had 85% passing. We had more corners, actually, loads more corners, 9 corners to 2. The tail of the tape does not tell the story, and that's why you've got to be careful with statistics like that. Look, the league table does not make for pretty reading. There is no doubt about it at all. There's no way of dressing it up. It's hard to describe quite how bad West Ham were in that first half, and we brought it completely on ourselves. It does not help when you concede early, 3-4 minutes. Kevin Schade scored, but we brought that on ourselves. So that doesn't help. But how you react to that is going to be quite telling. And it wasn't like that initial goal that Brentford scored was an anomaly, that they should and could have scored many, many more. The goal itself actually came from a West Ham corner. That's why you can't read too much into us having corners. We had a corner. It was a terrible corner, actually. It was taken by Emerson, who was going to go and feature at the end of the manoeuvre, by the way. He whipped it over. Now, he was taking an in-swinging corner. Obviously, remember, he's left-footed. An in-swinging corner from the right-hand side. So he's about as far away from left-back as he can possibly be. So is it a good thing to have him doing that? No. But it was, number one, it was a bad corner. And then it was easy. The keeper just jumped up and caught it. Easy, poor delivery. By the time Brentford had made their attack, he'd sort of got back into a more left-hand side central defensive role, if you want. And he did a really, really weak, uncommitted header. I thought it was really poor. He got taken off at half-time. I'm not surprised he got taken off at half-time. In fact, I completely agree with the substitutions at half-time. We'll get to them in a bit. It was weak, it was uncommitted, it was straight into the path of a Brentford player, and they scored a goal. Now, was it all his fault? Well, not really. I mean, because they were going to go and carve us apart time after time after time. And he was far from the only player that played badly. But it was the level of lack of commitment, which I absolutely hate. I mean, there was a couple of occasions. Well, firstly, Edson Alvarez, in many respects, is often overcommitted, and he was like that. Thomas Souček really struggled, really struggled in this game. He got hooked at half-time as well. But he was struggling so much, and bless him, he tried to overcompensate and did 2 pretty nasty fouls, actually. Got a yellow card for it as well. But there were a couple of players, one of them being Emerson, and the other one being Carlos Soler, who shirked responsibility. Soler... Funny enough, Soler was responsible for Schade, same player, hitting the post. Soler he'd actually done a good dribble, and he'd got forward well, and it was a sort of rare opportunity for West Ham to attack in the first half. And he got clipped. I mean, clipped on the calf. We were in a really good position to have an attack, and rather than, and then basically what happened was the Brentford player overran the ball. Rather than going getting the loose ball, he was rolling around complaining. He wasn't injured. He honestly won't even be bruised or anything from it. Whilst he was complaining, the referee did not give. There might have been the mildest of contact, but he didn't need to go down. He should have stayed up. He should have got the ball and he should have pinged it across the bowing. He didn't do that. He thought, I'm going to roll around on the floor. I'm going to ask for a free kick. The referee didn't give him a free kick. The referee wasn't great, by the way, but that's not why we lost. And they just went on a counter-attack and they hit the post. They had, I think, 2 goals disallowed for offside as well. It was one way. It was like a tsunami of attacks from Brentford. It was just wave after wave after wave. And the biggest problem, as far as I can see, was our midfield just could not cope with theirs. And it's hard not to single a couple of people out. Soler I've already done, but actually if you look at the midfield, Thomas Souček. So at half-time, Emerson Soler and Souček were taken off. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I did think Emerson and Soler, because they were uncommitted and I thought ineffective. And I thought Souček, because he wasn't uncommitted, he's always committed. But this game cried out for a midfielder who was neat and tidy in possession and athletic. And he is neither of those things. Quite why West Ham didn't go and get an athletic midfielder in the winter window, I don't know. That's a conversation for another day, actually. But put it this way, I don't know who you think West Ham's fastest player is. Maybe you think it's Mohammed Kudus. Whoever you think it is, Brentford had 4 players quicker. This has been the case. I remember doing a review a little while back when we played Watford. I remember doing a review with Gio and saying Watford had the 5 quickest players on the football pitch. West Ham need to sort this out. We just outpaced everywhere, and we struggled, and we struggled to claw our way back into the game. So I didn't mind the substitutions at all. In fact, I thought they were called for, but I felt sorry for Thomas Souček. Now, the trouble is when you're doing this, if to criticise Thomas Souček, then someone will usually come back and say, why all the hate for Thomas Souček? It's not hate, it's an observation of a game. There will be times this season when we need Thomas Souček. There'll be times when Thomas Souček comes back and scores an important goal. There'll be games that suit Thomas Souček, but in the same way like boxing styles make fights, this was not a game for him, and he was really badly exposed, I felt. So half-time switch, I mean, there's more, honestly, there's more to talk about. What am I going to say? That the front boys didn't really get any service. Lucas Paqueta played as a false 9 in the first half, did not work. Really, really didn't work. Substitutions, what was it? Yes, it was Ferguson, Ward-Prowse and Ollie Scholes on for the 3 players that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. And they were all better. Everyone was better. Scholes was better. Ward-Prowse definitely improved the midfield. And Ferguson up front, a couple of little bits and pieces, couple of little flashes, and I think, yeah, I think that was better. Certainly, Paqueta moving back into midfield rather than the false 9, that definitely improved things. We were marginally the better team in the second half, but we didn't really do enough to prize them open. One good move that we really made was really good was a good break by Bowen, who was quiet most of the afternoon, has to be said. Good break down the right, went to Evan Ferguson, and Evan Ferguson cut the ball back really well for Kudus, and Kudus, 6 yards out, maybe something like that, blazed the ball over. Which was a shame. It was with his weaker foot, but it was a good chance. We didn't really threaten. I didn't think Flecken had much to do at all, actually. So, I think whatever I said earlier, it was a couple of shots on targets. That would seem about right. Okay, look, Scholes, he's going to score a humdinger of a goal at some point. I think he really will. He was better than Emerson. There's work to do. There is much work to do. It's now 5 league. We were saying 1 win in 5 before, but that included the FA Cup game. There's now 1 win in 6, but more importantly, 1 win in 5 league games. It ain't good, to be honest with you. I think there is an improvement. By the way, I do believe that under Lopetegui, even under Moyes last season, we're shipping 5 goals. Honestly, we really would have done. Perhaps people would say we deserved to, but it wasn't like before when we were shipping 5 goals. I remember doing reviews and saying that could have been 8 or 9. So as the defence tightened up, yeah, it has. I've got to say, Mavropanos was not too bad in this game. Actually, one particular interception on Wissa was really, really good, actually. But there's problems. There's problems with the team, absolutely. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Ward-Prowse has played himself into the team. Was he brilliant? No, but he was just able to tick it over. He had a couple of misplaced passes himself. But it wasn't as bad as the others, and he gives you that set piece. And even if it's just stopping the left back from going up and taking right-sided corners, I mean, that's got to be a help, hasn't it? It was... Potter made changes at half-time, and they definitely improved the team. But we still looked a little bit blunt. I felt that Brentford were not too troubled by what we did. And it was enough for them. They were, they got in the lead. Do I think we were better in the second half? Yes, I do. I also felt They probably sat back a little bit more. We probably stopped their ability to counter. But we're handicapped. We are handicapped by a lack of pace, and sort of get sick of saying it, really. Actually, I don't, because there just always seems to be a new reason to say it. There always seems to be a new manager. There always seems to be someone else. I just collectively, irrespective of whether we've got Rob Newman, or whether we've got Tim Stuyton, and whether we've got David Moyes, or Hulan Lopetegui, or Graham Potter, and we go through these transfer windows, and you just feel that nobody really prioritises bringing in some fast players. And I've no doubt that Potter will navigate his way around it and do a bit of a better job. But we're handicapped by it because we are going to keep coming up against teams that can outpace us. And it's, yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. That's a tough one to take, actually, today. It really is, because I think, like many others, I'd sort of bought into the improvements that West Ham had hopefully been making, and maybe they'll come. I just wonder if we're sort of set that we're probably going to have to play out the rest of the season. I don't think that relegation is an issue. I don't. But there's work that needs doing on the squad, and I'll deal with it in tomorrow's video a little bit more. But yeah, ultimately, there you go, 1-0 win to Brentford, deserved. What can I say? We're down. There's a big enough gap between us and the bottom teams, which is great, I guess. But the league table does not look good. But as ever, the league table doesn't lie, and both under Lopetegui and in the 5 games under Graham Potter, West Ham have not been great this season, not been great at all. And we're going to have to start improving. But I think if positives, Ward-Prowse, Ferguson looked okay. We'll do a Kudus tomorrow. He's not one of the positives, by the way. We'll have a chat tomorrow. We'll have a chat about the lack of pace in the team and stuff like that. And a little bit concerned about Kudus. Truth be known, we could really do. It's strange, isn't it? He didn't feature for the whole start of the season. Really didn't play much under Lopetegui, but it's. I do think we missed Somerville, actually. It's quite bizarre to even say that. But anyway, there you go. I'm going to stop waffling now. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.